Yo, yo, yo. 2026 this morning for Tuesday, June 10th. Welcome. We've got a good amount to cover today, some results from yesterday, and tons of games today. Not a lot of them all that meaningful, but we'll look into the ones that are and see if some new teams will be punching their ticket to the World Cup today. Let's start with yesterday's results. Just a few European qualifiers. So the big ones I highlighted the other day were Belgium, Wales, and Croatia-Czech. So Belgium defeats Wales 4-3. If you didn't see this one, check out the highlights. Belgium was up 3-0 before halftime, dominating the game, had some chances to make it 4-0, and then Wales got a penalty right at the end of the first half, and then converted a few more chances in the second half to tie it up 3-3. Belgium had a goal disallowed that made it 4-3, but then in the end came out victorious. Kevin De Bruyne with the winner in the 88th minute. Great ball from Tielemans. He had a great game overall. Doku pretty strong too, just on that wing, dribbling, taking people on all day. But this result, I don't think it's a good sign for Belgium and their chances. I mean, they should make the World Cup, but I don't think they're going to make much noise when they're there. Their stars are getting old, and the younger players just aren't quite cashing in like the generation or the sub generation before. Teams like Netherlands have a lot more young talent that will be able to do big things next summer. And the other game I mentioned was Croatia versus Czech Republic. So Czech Republic played a bunch of games. They won them all. So this was kind of a barometer to see if they were for real. I said they would be okay if they could tie or keep it, even have a close loss. But wow, this is not a close loss. It was tied at halftime. But again, Croatia was just everywhere, dominating. They had a goal disallowed. And then, against the run of play, Czech Republic scored. It wasn't tied halftime. It was tied later than that, even with Souček scoring off a corner. And Croatia, 5-1, they still got it. They are still a dominant team. And just look at these scores. It is pretty crazy. Kramaric, Modric, Perisic, Budimir. These guys have been around for a long time. Kramaric, 33, 107 caps. Budimir, not that many caps, but 33 also. Then you have Perisic, 36, 145 caps. And of course, the man, the myth, the living playing legend, Luka Modric, 198 caps, got his 29th goal, 39 years old, still going strong. Love to see it. He'll be here in the U.S. or Canada and Mexico next summer. A few other results. Norway got the win. Holland with the one goal. 1-0 in Estonia. Not pretty, but these are the results you got to grind out. You got to get these 3 points to go to the World Cup. North Macedonia beat Kazakhstan. Again, 3 points. They could challenge Belgium and Wales. That will be an interesting group down the line. Italy beat Moldova 2-0. Not a huge win, but hey, that's better than last time. 2-0, pretty comfortable, very comfortable. So they've got to turn things around. They'll have a new manager and try to keep rolling from there. And then the big match in Torshavn. There we go. Faroe Islands. Come from behind victory. 2 late second half goals. Frederiksberg and Johansson. Yes, Faroe Islands take the 3 points. That was all for yesterday. So let's take a look and see what we got today, June 10th. Not too much going on in the UEFA. So a few more groups go. Finland, Poland, probably the biggest game there. They're the only teams that have, a realistic chance for making the World Cup. The only game where both teams have a chance potentially to make the World Cup. We'll see Netherlands against Malta, Austria, San Marino, Serbia, Andorra. Yeah, so a lot of the minnows playing against the better teams tomorrow in UEFA. We'll get back to South America next. Just a couple things to point out in CONCACAF and in Asia. So, Asia, the only games of consequence are going to be Palestine against Oman. So, Palestine needs to win against Oman to move on to the next round. Not to the World Cup, but on to the next round. Any other result, Oman will be the one that goes through to the next round. This game is going to be played in Jordan. I don't know if you guys knew, but a few things are happening in Palestine that make it unable for them to have their own home games. So maybe some of that Jordan World Cup qualifying magic will rub off on Palestine. Interesting to see. And then the other one, Australia has a 3-point lead and a big goal differential lead over Saudi Arabia. It would be a pretty epic collapse for Saudi Arabia to overtake them. And this one is to make the World Cup. So whoever doesn't make it will move on to the next round. But Australia, a win, a tie, a loss by 4 goals or less will put them through to the World Cup. Shouldn't be an issue, but stranger things have happened. If Saudi Arabia goes 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes, it's really going to be hold on to your butts time for Australia and maybe, check that score early to see if it's worth tuning in. The other place where we have a lot of matches, but not that many of them really matter, is CONCACAF. So the big one with 2 teams going to head-to-head is Cuba and Bermuda. Cuba is 2 points ahead of Bermuda for second place. So Bermuda needs to win. Any other result, Cuba will go through. This game will be played in Cuba. And oddly enough, these teams are only separated by 1 place. Actually, it's separated by no places. They're right next to each other in the FIFA World Rankings at 167 and 168. So yeah, some real big teams here. Big ones, but this will determine who goes on to the next round. I know for CONCACAF, the draw for the next round, it will be based solely on FIFA rankings, so the June 2025 FIFA rankings. Whether you finish first or second in the group doesn't matter. So all these other games, Haiti, Curacao, sounds good on paper, but doesn't matter for the group or for what happens next round. And I believe Asia will be the same, that they'll base that solely on FIFA ranking. One other match could be interesting. El Salvador needs a point to qualify over Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is ahead on goal differential, so in the case that Puerto Rico wins and El Salvador loses, then Puerto Rico would take that second spot. Suriname already through, so that would be an interesting upset there, as El Salvador is the top seeded team, but I think with Suriname already through, I don't see El Salvador losing this one, but I've been wrong already in the last few days. And then last, let's just take a quick look at CONMEBOL, so South America. Everyone's playing. So Bolivia can try to get back. Chile is in last place, so 3 points would put Bolivia maybe back in the mix for that 7th place intercontinental playoff spot. Uruguay and Venezuela. Venezuela feeling good after that win against Bolivia, so they play Uruguay. If Venezuela can get the win, they'll start to put pressure on Uruguay and potentially Colombia. Colombia plays at Argentina. Argentina are already through, but I think they'll put out a strong squad and want to get a win over Colombia. Brazil and Paraguay. Brazil need a win with the new coach, and the team just kind of not very impressive. I think Paraguay is ahead of them in the standings, so I could see a draw here, but not all that much on the line. Both teams should be safely through. Peru, Ecuador. Ecuador could book their ticket with a win. That would be interesting. In Peru, sort of on the outside looking in. Unlikely that they can do anything. So yeah, Venezuela, chance to move up if they get a win or even a draw. Would put some pressure on Colombia and Uruguay. You see Brazil and Paraguay right there next to each other. Paraguay and Ecuador can clinch a spot with wins, and maybe even without a win if some other results go down. So yeah, that's South America. Like I said, pretty set already. Throughout the day, yeah, I'd be looking at that the Asian qualifiers first. So if you can find it, Palestine-Oman. Then fast forward to the afternoon, Cuba-Bermuda in the evening. Might as well check out some Uruguay, Venezuela, followed by Brazil, Paraguay. Sounds like a good day. Soccer, football, all day. This will be the last day of qualifiers for a while, but don't worry, I'll still be here checking in with you, that you know what's going on the road to World Cup 2026. USA, Canada, Mexico. Some more teams will be punching their ticket, so I'll talk to you about the results probably tomorrow.